Hey everybody, Tom Olson here, and I am sitting right in front of my office this morning and getting ready for work. And I just thought I'd make a quick video for all you community go-givers out there. On my way to work this morning, I was just thinking, and I was just praying and asking God to help the city of Gary, Indiana, to help the people to break down the barriers of depression, to break down the barriers of loss of hope, to break down the barriers of racism on both sides, to break down the economic barriers, to bring business to Gary, Indiana. I was praying for the people of Gary, Indiana to rise up and not act like they need to fight for themselves, but to fight for their community and to fight for the greater good of the city of Gary, Indiana. And I just thought, normally I make a video and I kind of talk about the community go-giver that's coming up, and that's fine. But this morning I just figured, hey, why don't I encourage other people out there to also pray, join with me and pray for the city of Gary, Indiana. And that's what I think a community go-giver is really all about. Somebody who's willing to stand in the gap. Somebody who is willing to ask not what can the community do for me, but what can I do for the community. I learned a lesson when I was about 14 or 15 years old. And I actually learned it from my father-in-law. I didn't for sure 100% knew who's going to be my father-in-law. I actually had dated my wife a little bit at this time. Yes, I am a crazy person, and I told my wife I was going to marry her when she was in 8th grade, which I don't really recommend that. And I have a 7th grader now going into 8th grade, so if a boy tells my little girl next year that he's going to marry her, I don't know what I'd feel about that, but I did tell my wife I'd marry her when in 8th grade. But it was at a conference at our church, and I worked really hard. I really did. So we have a really big mega church, and we have massive national youth conferences where 10,000 people were coming when I was a teenager to this church for a youth conference in the summer. And our youth group was there, and it was our job to pick up the chairs, and it was our job to clean up all the mess from everybody else that came and left wrappers all over the auditorium. And at the end, it was a pretty tiring week for us. We even have a college that we go and we do a fireworks show in the middle of the youth conference. And at the end of the conference, all the teenagers from our church were here supposed to clean up all the chairs. And I mean, we were there till probably 11 o'clock that night. And I was kind of having a little bit of a complaining attitude. None of you guys have that complaining attitude, but at the time I had a complaining attitude. And I told my father, who's my father-in-law now, but he was head of the sound equipment at the time. I said, he's like, how you feeling? And I'm like, I feel used. And, at the time I was complaining, saying I feel used. But my father-in-law turned to me without even thinking, and he said, isn't it great to be used? And I thought about that. And it was a very convicting moment in my life. And he convicted me. And you know what? He's absolutely right. A community go-giver should be used. A community go-giver should feel used. A community go-giver sometimes is going to feel they're abused, part of that used. But being used is a good thing. Being used to be able to help other people, to be that conduit of God's love and of God's mercy and of God's grace and of hope. That's what I'm trying to do here in Gary, Indiana right now. I am just trying to relay hope to the city of Gary, and I hope that I can find other people that will join me. It's been a little tougher than I thought it would be to find good people out there that wanted to do good works for a good amount of time, for a good reason. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. So I encourage you guys out there, if you guys are community go-givers and you guys want to be the change that you want to see, and if you want to be a beacon and stand in the gap to help us flip the city of Gary, Indiana, and bring it into a place that people move to instead of a place where people move away from. If you want to be the person or a person that will stand with me and pray for the city of Gary and pray for the people of city of Gary and be a community go-giver, then I implore you, I ask you, come to the Community Go Giver. If you guys are looking for opportunities to maybe you can't afford the ticket, and that's fine. Maybe just send me a message if there's a way that maybe you can earn it, or if maybe you can help me throughout the event. I do have a couple, not very many, but I have a couple positions that I could have somebody help me fill. But if you want to stand in the gap, if you will just say, hey, Tom, I'll pray with you. Why don't you just comment below and share this message with other people? But let's make Gary great again. I believe in this city. I believe we can do it. And I hope that you will join me and help with it as well. So you guys know the drill. It's communitygogiver.com if you guys are interested in coming to the event. If not, just follow our stuff and follow me and share the stuff. Not because I'm trying to be great or I'm trying to be awesome, but I'm trying to get the message out for us to help these citizens in the city of Gary. So God bless. You guys have a great day.